What's going on, everybody? It is Tuesday. Show Me the Money Club live Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Episode 156. Woo! All right. What's going on, Sergio? How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Can't complain. Cannot complain. A little rainy, but, it is what it is.
It's all good here. We had heat wave, 105. Now it's cooling off, luckily. But
yeah, it was yesterday. It was nice. It was like 80, so it wasn't too bad. But today it's a little rainy, so just humid. Got to get that air on though, which is fine. All right, well, let's talk about what we're going to be talking about today, and that is we're going to be going over the Uber and Lyft earnings report, which just came out last week. Is Lyft catching up? What's going on? Driver used ADA guidelines to fix his personal algorithm. Uber tells employees back to the office. Lyft is launching shared rides at airports. Lyft is removing Tesla Model Y from XL and Black. Uber is rolling out upfront fares nationwide. Uber adds session summary, switching from delivery to rideshare. And then Uber CEO says Waymos in Austin is busier than 99% of human drivers. I wonder why. Then we're going to go to Uber's egregious commercial insurance rates. We're going to go then and finish out with our super chat shout outs and comments, and then also go to our driver's corner, which is what would your ideal rideshare app be like? Kind of like going after what Joe had mentioned in his video on Saturday. So if you watch that, then you know what we're talking about. If you didn't watch that, well, go back and watch it.
Yeah, that was a good video. I tweeted it out, and then I tagged Corey Doctorow, who's going to be on the show on, what is it, 27th? Yeah.
Yep,
27th.
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. And I said, Corey, they're in shitifying shit. And then he retweeted it because he has got like 500,000 followers. So oops, my phone up. And when he retweets, it got like 15,000 views or something or whatever. I don't know what it did. But yeah, so we want to get a feel from you guys at the end of the show. What would you like in a new rideshare company, and what it would look like for you guys to be to want to drive for that company? Actually, we kind of know what it would be, but then we want to hear from you. So that's that.
All right. Well, let's get right into our first. Not first topic. What am I talking about? Before behind the wheel.
Yeah. We okay, so as they say in Hollywood, Chris, we have a few in the can, but it always is good to stay ahead. So I have some great interviews coming up every Thursday, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. Behind the Wheel, which is being copied by Uber and Lyft now. So you email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. You say, Serge, I want to talk to you. Okay, what about? And you just send me a short paragraph what you want to talk about. 9 out of 10 people will be, accepted. We don't have restrictions. And just like we don't have restrictions when you're talking, no script. It's a chat, casual chat over drinks kind of a thing. And we put it on the channel. We don't edit. We don't cut. We don't take anything out you say. We don't mess with any of that. If you're going to complain, come complain. If you're going to say good things, come say good things. So Sergio@therideshareguy.com. Please email me and see you there. I'll send you a Zoom link and then hop on and record, and we'll be done in half an hour or less. Done.
Yeah. So it's basically, what's going on with you and rideshare, or you and delivery, or whatever it might be. Your story, your why. Kind of like behind the music, but behind the wheel. So similar to that.
Behind the wheel. Well, we're all behind the wheel, and so we want to hear your story, and I'm sure other drivers may learn something from you. If you have tips and tricks, what kind of city you're in, how many. It doesn't matter, by the way, if you're a veteran, newbie, doesn't matter. We don't care if you have 50,000 trips or 500 trips. We just want to talk about your experience.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about the earnings. I don't know if you're familiar, but some of the top scientists are talking about how, with some of these problems with the grid in like Spain, and the whole London Underground goes dark, and all that. And they're attributing a possibility of the magnetosphere weakening, and then the poles might shift. But they're talking about how Earth, the crust, might actually shift with it. I think it already began with Uber and Lyft land, because somehow the little tree is starting to get a lot more sunshine than the big tree is right now. So I think that they flipped on its side, and so Uber misses revenue expectations, Lyft rises. So what's going on here, Sergio? Since you are our resident
Finance guy.
finance guy, yes.
Yeah, I'm the resident finance guy, so I listen to both conference calls. Uber, actually, Uber is doing fine. It was a good quarter. They had growth, low double-digit growth. I mean, you got to understand that at their size, even getting single-digit growth is unbelievable, right? They're up to 3 billion trips a quarter. So the way they calculate, or the way they calculate, I guess, their earnings is, there is gross bookings. That's all the money that comes in from deliveries, from the riders and the consumer. Then they take out all the expenses and everything else, and then they're left with revenue. That number missed, although they take rate for the first time, Chris. I in fact asked Len about this, Len Sherman, our friend, professor. I said, Len, am I missing something? There is no take rate. He goes, no, I know. It's the first time. I haven't seen it. So Uber used to announce a global take rate. They don't do it by country or region by region. They do it globally. And the last quarter was 30.9%. So for all of you who don't know what a take rate is what you guys complain about all the time. Oh, they charge the rider 100, they pay me 20. That's the take rate. And after their expenses, by the way. So 30.9%, by the way, is almost 4x of what it was before they went public. Before they went public, their take rate was hovering single digits, about 7-8%. And with the beauty of upfront fares, they were able to push it to now 30.9. But this quarter, that was missing. So maybe that was another little key thing. But you guys look at the numbers, right? Hailing company, Uber, blah, blah, blah. Wall Street was expecting earnings per share of 50 cents. They beat that by 31 cents. 81 cents was the number, and it was a clean number. I mean, stock had been already going up. That day went down about 7-8%, but today it's back to an all-time high at over $90 a share. At $90 a share, Uber's market capitalization is $185 billion. They're in the S&P 500. But that's not the story. The story is the little tree. I listened to that conference call, of course, live. Actually, I listened to that live. And Lyft is not catching up. They're not taking market share as much as I would like. However, what they are doing is they're running a lot leaner and meaner company, and a lot of drivers can attest to this, that Lyft pricing for drivers have gone into shit. So they're working on increasing their take rate, and it seems like they've done a good job. And a couple of the things that they have announced, it's very sticky, they're saying, such as no surge, right? They have that subscription. They're saying it's very, very sticky. 80% of the people who buy that subscription for like $5 a month, what was that called on the no surge? I forgot.
Price lock?
Yeah, price lock, are renewing it. So that's how much the riders are liking it. And as you know, we talked about that last week, David Richards saying riders hate surge, right? Well, riders hate surge, but drivers love surge. Long story short, they did a lot better than expected. Their guidance was good. And they announced they increased the buyback from $500 million to $750 million. And stock took off. It was the most up day that I can remember on Lyft. It went, I think it was up about 24%. And in all of this, let's not lose sight of the fact that when David Richard came on as CEO, He has a RSU package, restricted stock unit package that he came on with. So the first tranche is in the money now because the stock is about 15. Next one is going to be at 20. And if the stock is at 80 before he quits, or if even whatever happens, that package is worth $1 cool billion for David Risher. So obviously his incentive is to do well for the company and the shareholders and push the stock up so that he can get a cool $1 billion out of it. But Lyft is definitely grabbing. They're saying a lot more drivers are on the platform and driving hours are a lot longer. I question that because the people are driving longer because they have to drive longer to make the exact same amount of money they were making a year ago. So that doesn't mean anything to me. Okay, but Wall Street liked it, and stock's about 17. That's as high as I remember Lyft. So both companies are. And last but not least, both companies said they're not seeing any weakness in the economy. They're seeing growth still happening. And that's where it was. So if you guys are interested in this, if you can't beat them, you join them kind of a thing. You could have bought Lyft stock at $12 last week. And you would be up 50% almost. So there you go.
Yep. So interesting to see over the last quarter for the earnings call. Of course, we're going to be talking about more markets are going to be going to upfront fares because, well, why not be able to squeeze the passenger and the driver a little bit more? So I wouldn't be surprised to see.
How drivers want, oh, I don't know where I'm going. I wish I knew where I was going. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't wish for it. You may get it.
Comes with a cost, and that cost might not be what you want.
Yeah, they're all getting it. Anyway, so that's where we are.
Yep. But let's move on. Let's talk about a driver using ADA guidelines to fix his personal algorithm.
So I told him, if you want to come on. So if you're watching, at the end of the show, we'll give you like 2-3 minutes to explain it in your own words. I'm going to try to explain it, try to do justice to what you did. Sir, he's a driver from Florida. So I was like looking at this on Reddit. This is real. Okay. I've actually personally spoken to this driver because I will not put anything like this up. Actually, I will not put anything up unless I have vetted it completely, unlike other places. So this was a post on Reddit, and I'm going to read a little bit of it, and then I'm going to explain what happened with it. So neurodivergent Uber drivers, you can request a fare algorithm under the ADA guidelines. Here's how I did it. If you're autistic, ADHD, OCD, PTSD, anxiety, or otherwise neurodivergent, and you've noticed a sudden drop in quality of orders, or you've struggled with how Uber's systems treat you, this will help you. I've spent the last few months documenting order inconsistencies and the past week requesting accommodations under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, specifically Title III. I was finally able to get Uber to escalate my case and put it in writing today that I would not be deprioritized for disclosing my disability. My advocacy would not lead to retaliation. They would verify my access to the same system and quality of orders as other drivers. So what he did is he did not quit. So he's saying at the end, he put down what he did, the steps he took, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and he secured a note from a licensed therapist diagnosing his disorder. And then if you're in the same boat, don't give up. You don't need a formal diagnosis, but you need symptoms and a clear documented request for fair treatment. So basically, he went to Uber with this, and Uber said, no, we do, we give the same orders for everyone. We don't discriminate. But under Title III, you as a driver, if you have one of these neurodivergent issues, you can ask Uber to have the algorithm fairly treat you, because the shitty orders you're getting are causing your disorder to get worse. This is not a joke, people. This is serious. I've spoken to this driver in length, actually. So on the next couple of screenshots, you guys will see what Uber said, came back with from their support. So it goes, this is Edgardo, your Uber support supervisor. I fully understand how important it is for this concern to be resolved. We're always trying to do better for you and to help you more with every issue. Thank you for reaching out to us. I understand your concerns regarding the ADA disclosure and the issues you've been experiencing with order offers. It's important that your needs are addressed appropriately. To assist you further, I will escalate your request to our ADA compliance officer, which I did not even know Uber had, to ensure that your disclosure is recorded and active internally. We will also verify no behavioral or whatever. Okay, so then no behavioral, where does it go? Okay,
throttling.
So verify that no behavioral or performance-based throttling or downranking is being applied to your account. We all know what's happening here. We all complain about throttling. Uber always says there is no such thing. Well, this is from support. They're kind of admitting it, don't they? Anyway, based on throttling, downranking is being applied to your account, and that you are not being deprioritized due to your disclosure or public advocacy. We appreciate your patience and commitment to working within the system. Your rights are important to us, and we are committed to providing a fair and supportive environment for all users. And then he literally said this, and I'm just quoting him now. He said that literally after this exchange, he was getting great orders, excellent orders. So before he says he worked for like 2 weeks and he was earning about $10 on average per online hour. After this, he started earning $30 per hour, and he only does deliveries, by the way, so you guys know. That's like that's something that we need to pay attention to. So I am actually going to try to put him on behind the wheel for him to tell his own story in his own words, because I'm sure I'm not doing it fully justice. But so you all can do this. You all can get a little report saying you have anxiety or bad orders are giving you anxiety and it's making your existing condition worse, and bombard Uber with all this. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I think what's very interesting is the fact that Uber support supervisor, so this is somebody who's going to work directly within Uber most likely versus somebody at the Philippines. So when they come back and say, oh, well, that support agent may not know what they're talking about when we talk about other chat things. Sorry, you can't throw this one under the water there. But them saying that they're going to verify that no behavioral performance-based throttling or downranking is being applied to the account, or you're not deprioritized due to your disclosure. So that pretty much right there just goes to show you that something is going in the back end. So if you think something is going on because your orders are not coming in properly or what you remember, whatnot, probably the truth, probably a reason for it.
So on the third screenshot, I know you put it back, but the writing is too small. Just read that. Look what it says. So what happened is that he kept pushing, like this third one. Yeah, read that one.
So it says, hi, Robert. This is Brianne, a supervisor from Uber's customer support team. Thank you for reaching out. I want to inform you that I have already reached out to the team regarding your issue with ADA accommodations. I'm reaching out to inform you that our engineering team has been notified about this situation. They are actively working on resolving it and making strides towards a solution. Rest assured that once the problem is fixed, you will receive a direct notification either via email or in-app message with the app. We appreciate your patience and understanding.
There you go. So what does that mean? That means I can call them up and say, rideshare driving is giving me PTSD, and then send me good offers? Is that what's happening here?
I don't know, maybe, or the stress and anxiety of going from $30 an hour to $10 an hour is a problem. And, now my anxiety is really, really strong because I don't know how I'm going to make the bills. And, you're downgrading me and giving me more stress because all this and blah, 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 and we continue on. But yeah. And
Well,
what's this
anyway.
little?
And
What's this
then
little
at
thing?
the end, he got this, one last one. And on this one, after doing all that, right, saying, yeah, we're working on it. We appreciate your patience, and yeah, and his numbers improved drastically. Literally did, he says, and he's proof is in the pudding. This supervisor or support agent comes back and says, there is no program in Uber aligns with your ADA document, Robert. Now, see, typical. What happened is that they probably ran it through legal, and they didn't think it would come here, but everything comes here, Uber. So, they ran it through legal, and they said, nah, go pound sand. There's no such thing. I'm going like, what? So I need a yes or no, please, he says. And then failure to answer will be considered retaliation. He goes, I have given you details that Uber does not have a program like that. So they're walking it back now. And for after that, he goes, he goes back to the agent, says, then Uber is in violation of Title III of the ADA. Being a contractor has nothing to do with Title III. So I have not looked into Title III, and now I will. And Robert, now we're going to put you on behind the wheel because I see the chat flying, and I think we need to dig a little deeper into this. Maybe all of you should just go do this with Uber. Let's see what they say. Because their agent said, well, we won't throttle you anymore, or we will not deprioritize you. Like, that's Uber chat. I didn't make that up. So yeah, this is interesting. So There we go.
Yep. So yeah, but like I said, going back to what I was saying before, yeah, if you think something weird is going on, probably is.
Well, we know. Well, I'm not going to say we know, but we feel. Okay, we feel as drivers when we're getting throttled.
Mm-hmm.
We feel it. I feel it. I mean, I'm not a newbie, right? And if I decline a few in a row, shit stops. I'm like in the middle of Santa Monica, and
Nothing for 45 minutes.
we were well, yeah. I mean, so I'm like in the middle of Santa Monica. Santa Monica is the busiest part of town, literally, and I don't get a trip for 45 minutes because I decline a few. It's just kind of silly. I mean, Uber, So, but we'll dig into this. We'll dig deeper into this. I want to know what Title III is. Maybe some of you know. Maybe you guys can email me and educate me about it. But I want to read it. I want to understand it. I want to see what we can do as a community if we have any rights under Title III of the ADA.
I don't know. We'll see. But either way, let's move on. Maybe we'll hear from him. But before we do, let's move on. You might have stress about going into the office when you have to go driving, and by the in the office, I mean your car. But what happens when DK says, "Get in the office or else"?
I don't know, man. I mean,
That's exactly what he was doing.
I'm going to say I'm with DK on this, actually.
Oh, I am too.
Okay, so I'm usually not with DK on most things, but on this one, I even tweeted this out. I mean, I'm with DK on this. You entitled, pompous. I mean, I get it. It's not like as if they're all going. He's asking him to go back 5 days, right? He goes 3 out of the 5. You need to be at the office. So Uber CEO says his employees can go elsewhere. I mean, look, hey, welcome to our shoes. I even tweeted. I go, hey, if you do give. By the way, I know this for a fact. I was not a fly on the wall during this all hands-on company-wide meeting, but I heard that shit hit the fan on this one, and people are going to get fired. So I said, hey, Uber employees, if this shit doesn't work for you with your stock options and $300,000 a year salary, you can always drive Uber. We're always welcoming new drivers to our community. Come on down, feel it. And Uber, hold on. Yeah, that's my tweet right there. I heard people were getting fired right and left during all hands on deck call. I actually agree with because well that's his Twitter handle, Derek Oshajai. These employees make great money. Add to that all the vested RSUs, restricted stock units. For the ones who are fired, try Uber driving. That was my tweet. And Dara says you got to come back to the office for 3 days at least out of the week, and then in order for you to be granted,
you should be there full time Monday through Friday.
well, no, I mean, they had a deal, right? And during COVID, they had a deal that they could work from home. WFA.
Well, COVID's over with 5 years ago.
Yeah,
Move on.
I know. But then Uber also did something saying that they could take like a paid sabbatical after 5 years. Now it's 8 years, so they went apeshit about that, the employees. So they were like cussing at DK, actually. That's what I heard.
Right. You know what? Like I said, you could probably cut half of your staff. You could go from 33,000 down half, cut 50%. It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, so Uber's cracking down on remote work, return to office plans, and other benefits. CEO Dara Khosrowshahi said the changes might prompt Uber employees to look for jobs elsewhere. That's pretty cut and dry. You know what I mean? He goes, "It is what it is."
Hey, here's the thing. How do you get rid of your employees without actually having to fire them?
Yeah.
This is a great way to do it.
Yeah. They go like, "You don't like it? Tough shit." He goes, "Out." And tech companies have been pulling back on remote work and other employee benefits. Uber's Dara Khosrowshahi is perfectly okay with employees who don't agree with him wanting to jump ship. My hat's off to you, DK. I know you're not going to come on, but on this one, I'm agreeing with you, bud.
100%.
Pompous, entitled. I don't even know what some of these people do. Honestly, I mean,
I think they sit there and play hacky sack.
I don't know what they do, bro.
And then talk on Slack, and that's really it.
Yeah, talk on Slack and take some screenshots of show me the money.
Yeah, right.
Hey, man, it's what it is. It's okay. Go back to work. It's okay. You know what? I agree, actually, working at an office, it's a different culture, different feel.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, like think about it. First of all, if you just look, if you have two employees that do pretty much the same thing, one is remote, one is at the office.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one of the managers says, "Hey, I need help with something. Does anybody know how to do this?" Well, the person there hears it and says, "Oh yeah, I know how to do that. Let me help out." The other person doesn't. So let's now say both those positions get phased out because they were doing the same thing. But the person who actually is in the office, they're going to be probably able to continue on job because, if that thing that they're doing that the manager needed is continuing to need, well, they still have a job. The other person, hey, see you later.
Yeah, I know.
That's one thing. And the other thing too is, you get that you do have that company culture, and the culture is going to give you, a lot more feedback in real time. Like you and I having a conversation is a lot different here on screen than it is in person. 100%.
Like we did during Curb before. You know what I mean? It's
Exactly.
like different. But my thing is, listen, people, you guys have great jobs. I don't think you should throw a fit about this 3-day-a-week thing. And some people said during the meeting, supposedly, that after COVID, they were allowed to work from home all the time, and they signed deals. So this is Uber reneging on deals. Welcome to our world. Hey, bait and switch, all that stuff. Surge is disappearing. Come on down. Hey, if you grab a car, come on down. Work Uber a little bit. You know what I mean? I know it ain't going to pay the bills from a $250,000 a year job, but give it a shot. Hey.
I don't know. Like I say, those who don't want to come and cut them, see ya.
That's what DK said. Out the door. Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Yeah. It's so difficult to get up. And, trust me, I hate traffic jam. I hate the traffic. I hate traffic jams. I hate that. Absolutely. 100%. But you know what? Hey.
What Watch me get
I mean,
bombarded with
people have
emails.
survived for many years going to the office, so it's okay. It's okay,
Tomorrow
buddy.
I'm going to get a bunch of hate mail from Uber employees.
Well, then I'd be like, hey, guess what? Now I got your emails, so now I got more emails. Thanks.
Pound send. Let's go.
All right. Well, hey, Uber employee, get back to the office, okay?
Yeah. Get your butt
All
back
right.
there.
With that being said, let's move on. Let's talk about Lyft a little bit. They're launching shared rides at the airport.
Wow.
So, hey,
Okay,
one of the things that I wanted to know is why, David Risher, are you enshittifying your product more? You wanted to get rid of the enshittification, but you're making it more.
Yeah, it's okay. So I have clarification from Lyft on this one. Let me read it. So it's like,
okay.
So I don't say the wrong thing because I don't want anybody on my case. Hold on a second.
Okay, I'll say the wrong thing.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. I'm just saying that. Let me get it, and so I want to do this the correct way. So there was tweets. So I was like, what? In fact, he's probably here. Lelius, right? This is his screenshot. And he goes, Serge. And Buddha, right? So I'm going like, they all like emailing me like, did you get it? I'm like, no, I looked at my app. I didn't get it.
Nice.
So I can see from around the corner here, it's where it's on the right-hand screenshot where it says not available, shared airport rides. Well, that's goddamn Burbank Airport. I can see the A and K at the end of it, which is like 10 miles, 12, 15 miles from my house. So hold on. Let me get this correct. So it's like, all right. So so Uber is testing, not Uber, Jesus. Lyft is testing, piloting, that's their word, piloting, shared rides, pickups at airports. Okie dokie. This was in Lelius's app, but Buddha said the same thing. I don't have it. So we're all in LA, but they have it and I don't have it. So that means they're even piloting not only, between different driver sets as well. But I do have shared rides unchecked on my, because, there's only one place that you can do shared rides in LA, which is USC. And so Lyft got rid of shared rides during the COVID and they kept it off, unlike Uber where they brought back pool or shared rides, right? So I got the email. So here's the deal. If you are in those cities, you are going to, and if you're the selected driver group, you're going to have ORD. ORD is Chicago O'Hare, Boston, Logan, Las Vegas, LAX, San Francisco International, Denver International, Austin, and New Orleans, Louisiana. Those 8 is not being rolled out nationwide, but those 8 are being piloted. So then I went back and I said, yeah, but this thing, it says Burbank Airport. Doesn't say LAX, it says Burbank Airport. So, and then I got a response saying, I'm just going with what they said. So I don't want any problems. Here, this is what they said. They said, we are rolling it out at LAX only, but since drivers can go between LAX and Burbank Airport, then we are letting anyone in the region to opt out. I don't know what that means. Do you know what that means? I didn't opt out. I didn't opt out on anything. There's nothing. So I
don't know.
I don't know what that means. But anyway, so it's being tested. If you're in those 8 airports, those are major airports. Those are not, right? LAX, O'Hare, and SFO, and Austin, and so what do you think about this? Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing? You're not gonna say anything?
I don't think it's really, I don't think a lot of people are going to do it because most of the people that are single flyers are usually business for a lot, and they're probably not going to do shared, whether they're heading back home or whether they're flying out, I mean going to a hotel or something. I don't know. I don't really think it's going to be used as much as they think it would be. Well, I think this would be more used better in college areas.
Yeah. Well, USC has a deal with Lyft. So USC students, because they pay $2,500 a unit to go to USC, I think they get free Lyft trips. They have it. It used to be Uber, then USC switched to Lyft. So that I know exists. But airports, well, Matt, I think he's here from Boston, the search sniper of Boston, had had a good tweet about this. He said, now, so instead of having two people going in the same direction can get in the car on a shared trip going out of LAX, let's say, right? Well, instead of having two separate requests, now there's going to be two in one car. So this is going to reduce the amount of requests, right? And I don't know the pay structure. I don't know anything about it yet, but they admitted that they're testing or piloting it. So if you're in one of those cities, shoot me an email if you do one of these and tell me about your experience. I won't do it, but I didn't even get it in my app. So I this is news to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, chat, what would you do? Would you take shared airport rides? Yes, no. And do you think that shared airport rides is actually something that would be big?
People are allergic to shared trips as it is. I don't think they're not going to do it in the city. I don't think they're going to do it at airports.
Yeah, I honestly, I don't see this being a very catchy thing. Like I said, if you want to use shared rides, probably the best is going to be at colleges. Like you could go to all the colleges around because they're all trying to save a little bit of money here and there. And drivers want to make a little bit of money here and there. And, if everything's priced right, well, maybe it's not as bad. But who knows? I mean, like, I don't know. I think that's the only thing that would make it right.
There's the sniper of Boston right there. Do whatever he says. That's it.
All right. Well, before we move on, let's. I did this is exactly what I did. I said ADA Title III TLDR into ChatGPT. So it says here's a TLDR summary, and it says Title III of the ADA prohibits discrimination based on disability in public accommodations like restaurants, stores, hotels, theaters, and doctors' offices. It requires these businesses to be physically accessible and to provide equal access to goods and services, including reasonable modifications and auxiliary aids like interpreters or screen readers where necessary. Key points applies to private businesses and nonprofits open to the public, covers physical accessibility like ramps, doors, widths, and signage, requires equal service, including communication access, enforced by the US DOJ. Lawsuits can be filed by individuals or the DOJ for violations.
Okay. Well, we do a deep dive on it, how the ADA Title III guidelines apply to gig work or something like that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because those I know, the ADA, that you have to have the ramps, that's for physically handicapped stuff. I'm talking, neurodivergent problems such as anxiety, ADHD, PTSD, because if you keep getting $3 Uber trips, that could give you PTSD actually, even if you don't have it, or if you have it, it make you worse. So, I'm gonna dig into this because I don't mind. I mean, not that I have so much time in my hands, but
ChatGPT disagrees with this driver.
Okay, what's it say?
So it says, it says quick summary for neurodivergent gig workers. What is it? Title III of the ADA requires businesses open to the public, like restaurants, stores, ride-hailing platforms, etc., to be accessible to people with disabilities. As a gig worker, here's what you should know: you are not covered as an employee. ADA Title III applies to places of public accommodation, not to independent contractors. So Uber, Lyft, DoorDash aren't required to make accommodation for you as a worker under this title. You are covered as a customer. If you use these services as a rider or buyer, you have the right to accessible service. Platforms aren't off the hook completely. Companies like Uber have faced lawsuits under Title III for failing to provide equitable access to disabled workers or to disabled users, not workers. This could include lack of vehicle options or failure to assist with service dogs. What about neurodivergence? No direct accommodations are required for you as a gig worker under Title III, but you might be able to argue for accommodations under other laws like ADA Title I if you're misclassified and actually functioning like an employee. Alternative supports look into apps or tools that help neurodivergent folks stay organized, communicate clearly, and manage executive function, especially if the platform doesn't help. TLDR takeaway, gig workers must look elsewhere for legal accommodations, but pushing for broader platform accountability is still possible.
Okay. Well, we'll look into it because he was pretty adamant that Title III does apply. So we'll dig a little deeper into that. I have an hour to spend this week, so there you go. Yeah.
All right. Well, either way, I just wanted to give you that information. So that's one of the good things about chat, but one of the bad things is take it with a grain of salt because the only way I know I could get it absolutely specific is if I literally copied the ADA into chat and then got it from that, because otherwise it could be hallucination or something. So take it with a grain of salt. As of right now, you can definitely take a look into it a little bit more. But let's move on. Let's talk about Lyft removing Tesla Model Y from XL and Black.
Yeah.
And
this is a big slap in the, where. Okay, you remember what kind of big deal it was when Lyft removed Lux? Remember? Right? That was like a huge. That was a huge slap in the face of drivers.
Enshittification, my man.
Enshittification? Yeah, I can't wait until Corey is here. You know what we should do? We shouldn't even do topics that day. We should just do Corey for the whole show.
We'll see.
Yeah, we should do that. So this is a good friend of the channel. He's also on Twitter. Also, he's part of Coast to Coast Spaces on Twitter. I highly recommend it. I can't join every week, every Monday. I think it's at 4 p.m. Pacific. I can't join. Once in a while I join. They're all veteran drivers talking shop. Worthwhile your time. Just go listen in. So there was a very well written letter. So this guy, Lelius drives a Tesla Model Y. So Lyft is taking away. No, I do. First of all, I understand when they removed Tesla Model Ys from Lyft Black SUV. I don't think Lyft Model Y is an SUV. Okay, because you're paying SUV, you should get like a Yukon or a Cadillac or something like that. All right, Tesla Model Y is
a bigger one.
Yeah, that's one. So that part I understand. That was a while ago. That was a few months ago that they removed Tesla Model Ys from Black SUV. But now Lux is gone. A lot of people got stuck, by the way, with Tesla's Model Ys and other cars. Then they removed Lux from the platform, which was like a going between from standard, comfort, Lux, and then Black. And they removed Lux, but then they were able to do Black, Lyft Black. Well, now they're removing Tesla Model Y, specifically Tesla Model Ys from Lyft Black, which I think Tesla Model Y should be able to do Lyft Black without a question. And one other thing, actually, I agree with Lyft on this. There's 7-seat Tesla Model Ys. And the third seat on those things, I'm telling you, you can't even have a 4-year-old sit back there. So I understand why they may be removing it from XL. Okay, that I understand too. But removing it from Black is a horrible decision. Who makes these decisions? I have no idea. How they come up with these ideas and decisions, I have no idea. But Lelius wrote this open letter to Jeremy Bird, who was on the show and who I'm hoping will be on the show again, is an open letter to Jeremy Bird regarding upcoming changes to Lyft Black eligibility. This is very well done. I'm writing to express my deep concern and disappointment regarding Lyft's recent decision to remove the Tesla Model Y from eligibility for Lyft Black without formal notice or adequate explanation. There actually has not been. I confirmed this with drivers. They did not get an email saying or notifying them that the Tesla Model Ys are being removed from Lyft Black. While Lyft has every right to refine its standard, the way this decision was implemented abruptly and without transparency has left many longest-serving, highest-performing drivers feeling sidelined and devalued. It's true that not every Model Y ride may align perfectly with every rider's vision of a luxury experience, but many do, and with consistently high satisfaction. That's because much of what, this is an important paragraph here. So Lyft, listen to this. Actually, Lyft got this, but if you're watching, listen to it. That's because much of what defines a true luxury experience isn't just the vehicle, it's the driver. Professionalism, attentiveness, cleanliness, and consistency are what elevate a ride beyond expectations. And those qualities come from individuals who take pride in their work, not just the vehicle. What most troubling is how this policy disproportionately impacts independent drivers who have invested significantly in their vehicles and in providing outstanding service. In contrast, fleet operators and rental programs will simply swap in different qualifying vehicle, continuing to flood the platform with inconsistent and impersonal service that contributed to rider dissatisfaction in the first place. Your CEO, David Risher, has rightly warned against enshittification, the slow erosion of a platform's value when decisions are driven by optics and short-term positioning rather than user and contributor experience. Unfortunately, this decision reflects that very dynamic. Removing the Model Y may check a box on branding, but ignores the substance of what truly makes a ride premium while alienating many of your most committed drivers. Next page. If Lyft is serious about service quality, the focus should be on performance-based standards, rider ratings, reliability, and consistency rather than just vehicle specs. Many Model Y drivers have met and exceeded those benchmarks for years. They've upheld Lyft's brand through professionalism and dedication and should not be cast aside in favor of surface-level changes. Lyft has an opportunity to demonstrate that it values excellence and loyalty over superficial optics and window dressing. I urge you to revisit this policy and ensure that high-performing drivers are treated with the fairness and respect they have earned. The only thing that they got is in this in-app message saying that vehicle requirements are changing as of May 30th, and Model Ys are being taken off Lyft Black. I personally know, obviously, this driver. I know a bunch of drivers who have bought Tesla Model Ys to do Lyft Black because they eliminated Lux, and now they're in the cold again. I would like Jeremy to answer this, actually, come on the show and talk about these and a couple other things. I really would like to know the inner workings of what constitute or who makes the, or what, how these decisions are arrived to. I know they have the data, but maybe they can clue us in of how they make these decisions, removing cars willy-nilly, you know. Yeah, it was well done, and I think it deserves voice, and I hope we did that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, one of the things is he's absolutely right when it comes down to saying who is the face of Lyft. It's the driver. The driver is the face. Other than that, it is a logo and an app. So the actual person that's behind it is the driver. If the driver is pissed off because now they're resorting to just Lyft regular rides and they're stuck with a big car note because they were looking at Lux and Black and I mean XL, you could argue yes or no on that one. But you're gonna have a pissed off driver. Actually, you're gonna have many pissed off drivers. And then couple that with decreasing pay. I mean, like some of these that I post on X, they're like 35 cents, 40 cents a mile. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah,
That drivers are getting paid. And you think that people are going to be okay with that or happy about that? No, they're going to be pissed off. When a driver is pissed off, they're going to give a very bad experience overall to the passengers that get in their car. If you are paying fairly and paying correctly, and I'm not saying like $50 an hour, like some drivers think that they should. No, I'm talking about reasonable and fairness when it comes down to it, to make sure that the coverage of any car costs are already covered with every mile that you drive, plus enough that you are able to make on top of it. So that is where it really needs to be when it comes down to a fair pay. So if that's actually met, a driver is going to be happier because they're actually getting fair treated. They're going to feel like they're heard because everybody's complained about money. And if they came around and said, hey, we're going to start paying you more, we're going to look at a 25% increase. right there, probably a lot of drivers would be a little bit happier. And then that way it's going to translate into happier customers. Happier customers are going to become repeat because they had better experience than maybe on another platform. But again, they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at it as surface level. So do you think shared rides is going to make the platform better or worse? In my opinion, I think it's probably going to make it worse when it comes to airport rides. Do you think that eliminating Tesla Y from Black is going to make the platform better or worse? It's probably going to make it worse. Do you think that
no,
eliminating Lux was if in favor of extra comfort? Do you think that that is going to make the platform better or worse? Guess what? It made it worse.
Well, but the funny thing is, like, I listened to the earnings call last quarter, and David was talking really highly about the higher platforms are being used a lot more now, like Lyft Black and Black SUV. So they're seeing more demand for those types of cars and trips, right? And how does this fall in the face of? I mean, Tesla Model Y is a perfectly luxurious car, as far as I'm concerned. To do Black, yes. Black SUV, no. XL, probably no. But for Black, where somebody is looking to step up from comfort, because comfort is literally like, I don't know, it's like standard anyway. Step up a little bit, but not pay the Black SUV numbers as a rider. Yeah, I think this is like, but the way it's done, without any warning and without anything, just okay, we're removing it. These are the types of things that irk the drivers, right? Because now a lot of people, look, we always say this: do not go buy a new car or luxury car to do rideshare, because you don't know when they're going to pull the rug on you. You just don't know. You have no control. So, but if you did it, now you're stuck with a note. Now with your Model Y, you can only do comfort and green or extra comfort or standard. Well, yeah, I mean, they feel betrayed, obviously, and that needs to be talked about. I mean, look, Jeremy, what's up? Okay, I mean, you said you'll come on every quarter. It's been 2 quarters. It's time to show up and look. You took you took the fire on last time. These are questions that needs to be answered. It's not like we're just bitching and moaning about it. We just want to understand the logic behind removing cars on a platform. Like Uber does it too, by the way. This is not just Lyft. But yeah, this was a surprise to a lot of drivers. And Lyft Black trips pay well. I mean, I know, like our Tony, here in LA, he has and he was very happy doing Lyft Black trips. Now he's not going to be able to do this. Is a Model Y. So, all these things that you guys are doing, okay, as Uber and Lyft, they are not instilling more respect for the companies, and they're not instilling more trust for the companies. The bridges have been burned so many times already. As opposed to working to fix those things, you guys are doing this type of thing without a warning. Up, no more Model Y. I'm like, why? I mean, just let the people know, give them fair warning or something. But anyway, so without harping on too much, yeah, I thought it was well done, well written, and I said it should be on the show, and there you go, it was on the show.
Yep. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about Uber. Don't wish for it, because you might not want it.
Yep.
Upfront Fares is rolling out to more markets.
I have an email on that one too. Hold on a second. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to say the wrong thing.
They're like, oh, we know you're going to be talking about this. So
no, you can talk about this. You can read this while I find the email. You can talk about this while I find the email.
All right. So yes, several areas still did not have upfront fares. They were still on the rate card. We actually talked about this recently. I don't know, like last week or 2 weeks ago or something like that, when it came to would you prefer a rate card or upfront fares? My thing was, I think both. There should be the hybrid. You should be able to have an estimated upfront fare, knowing about how much you're going to make, knowing the pickup and drop off based on a time and distance model. You know everything about it. It's not this opaque model that they say is more transparent, but in reality, they say it's based on several factors. Okay, what are the factors? Time and distance is, but they can change that at any point. Any point they feel like it. They don't have to give you another addendum or anything when it comes to rate changes. So the ball's in their court when it comes to upfront fares, because they're able to price you out wherever you want to be, or wherever they want you to be, I should say. And then on the other side, they do the same exact thing on the passenger. So they don't get to win. But yeah, so Upfront Fares is coming to more markets. Yes, it's wonderful to see the pickup and drop off. It's good to know exactly where you are going to go. So you don't have to take that ride if you don't want to. Remember, that is the biggest thing. Acceptance rate has no play. Now, if you get into an advantage versus standard mode, yeah, there's going to have a 25% acceptance rate, but it's still 25%. So it's not exactly that hard to get to advantage. But yeah, enjoy Trip Radar, because when you hear that stupid little ding every time, we went back to that driver with his personal algorithm. I'm sure a lot of people already have. I mean, I remember going through when we were doing our side by side comparisons and have the Uber thing playing. I'm like, trigger warning in case this pisses you off. So yeah, I mean, it's going to be good to know pick up and drop off. So that's good. But the problem is the opaque pay and the structure behind it. Good luck, because it's going to be a pay cut.
Yeah, I mean, look, Upfront Fares has been pretty much nationwide, but then we know where they're not. And I would get countless emails every month. People watch the show, they go like, well, I don't know where I'm going, I'm driving blind, I wish I had Upfront Fares. Well, there's a county right next to me, next to LA County. There's a county called Ventura County, okay? They didn't have Upfront Fares. They got Upfront Fares a few weeks ago. And now I get complaint emails saying, Serge, what is this? I go, yeah, you wanted it. You wanted to see where you're going. You know what I'm saying? I mean, what am I supposed to do here? But so they're getting it. And I asked this to Uber, and Uber thankfully came back in time. So I was getting emails from different cities. Oh, Serge, look, I have Upfront Fares now. Oh, look, I have Upfront Fares. I'm going like, I asked Uber, can you send me the list of cities that you guys are rolling out Upfront Fares? So they came back to me and said, instead of giving you where it's being rolled out city by city, how about we do this? By the end of May, okay, this is, I'm reading from the email, drivers will see Upfront Fares across the US. This is a nationwide rollout. So there is no Upfront Fares. Everybody's getting Upfront Fares. Hold on. With the exception of these states and some cities. Oregon, no Upfront Fares in Oregon. Washington State, no Upfront Fares. Although Lyft does have Upfront Fares in Washington State. New York City, NYC says, NYC suburbs, and where we did our last behind the wheel with the New Jersey driver, no Upfront Fares in New Jersey. So those four, like Long Island, New York City, and suburbs such as Long Island and places like that, no Upfront Fares. New Jersey, no Upfront Fares. Oregon, no Upfront Fares. Washington, no Upfront Fares. If you're Washington State, if you're in anywhere else, by the end of May, you should have the same ping screen as I'm having. You have a pickup point, drop-off point, the fare, decline and recline all you want. And then don't email me saying, Serge, I got a pay cut. I'm like, but hey, we think it's a pay cut. We think seeing the destination of the rider has been an exchange for lower fares. That's what I think, personally speaking. I don't know about you all. I think it has been. But some people say it's not. I'm like, I have yet to meet a driver. And if you're out there, please email me, Sergio@therideshareguy.com. I want to put you on the show. That after Upfront Fares, you are making equal or more than pre-Upfront Fares with a rate card. I want to hear from you. Thank you. That's it.
Well, either way, it's coming, except for those areas. Go figure. And I'm sure the people in Jersey are probably really pissed off to hear about that right now. Because
we know where that is.
Yeah, because they don't want to take the rides in New York City because you get screwed.
Lyft has Upfront Fares in Jersey. Lyft has Upfront Fares in Washington State. So maybe that's why you multi-app. You know what I mean? There you go.
Yeah. Not too bad there. All right. Well, let's move on and talk about Uber's rolling out something that's different. Is called Session Summary or Session Summary. So apparently this is actually, oh, hold on.
Oh, No, is it the new one?
Where is it? Hold on.
I don't know. Did you put it? Oh, I didn't put that in. You put that in.
What the hell?
Session
Where'd it go?
summary, is that the one that they're breaking it down and giving you like the...
Yeah, hold on. I don't know why it's not showing up.
You sent it to me.
I know
the text.
it's in there.
No, but
It's not,
we said
mean,
we'll
I'm
do it
looking-
next week or something. Didn't we say we do it next week?
No, that was the other thing.
Oh, okay. All right.
Hold on.
Oh, it's okay. Let's just...
Let me
So
Let me
yeah,
pull it up.
while you're doing that, yeah, no upfront. So you all have upfront fares. Enjoy it, okay? And let me know if it's paying you more. According to Uber, short trips are supposed to pay you more. Medium trips are supposed to pay the same. Long trips are supposed to be in a rebalance and pay you a little bit less. Okay? All right. That's upfront fares for you. Good luck.
But you know where you're going.
Yeah, I know where I'm going. Haircut. I get it.
All right, here we go. All right, so Uber is adding something called session summary. So
what's a section?
A session is when you go online and then you go offline.
Oh, well, what if I go back online again?
So your session time.
I know. Oh, is that the 12-hour clock? Is that what they're talking about?
No. It's you go on, you go off. So look at the first one. You go. This one was May 12th, 8:51 a.m. to May 12th, 10:16 a.m. So you were on for about an hour and a half.
I don't have completed.
You got $21.48 on 2 trips. You had 7 trips offered. And guess what? You had 0 cancellations this session. Nice going.
Congrats. Nice going. Wow,
So,
bro. This driver made like an hour and a half, $21. That's pretty abysmal. Okay, so you log off and then you come back on. There's a new session, I'm assuming. Yes? Yeah. Okay. So they show you this every time you do this? Every time you log off?
A session is just when you go on and go off.
Okay. And then what happens to this old session when I create a new session? I have lunch and then I go back to driving again. So there's a new session then.
New session. I don't know. I don't have it.
I don't have it. I don't know. How's this working?
Some areas apparently already had it. Yeah, some areas already had it, but other areas didn't. And this is starting to roll out, and I guess it's rolling out to more areas, but whether it goes nationwide, like Upfront Fares, except for a couple of states, who knows? I guess we'll see. But yes, if you have this session summary in your app, let us know. But
oh shit, look at the other one.
Yeah.
Is that real?
Yep.
526 offered?
Yep.
That can't be real.
Oh,
5
it is.
In one. How long was that one? 7:55.
The session was 7:55 a.m. to 6:21 p.m. So
like 10 hours.
10 hours.
Bro, that can't be. How can you get 50 offers an hour? That's bullshit. 50 offers an hour. No way. No way. I'm not buying that. Where was that from? From Twitter or Reddit, or where was that from?
From someone on X, which I would agree, I would think that this is an accurate assessment.
Really? 520. Wow. In 10 hours? That's 52 an hour. You don't even have time to decline all those, bro.
Yeah. Hold on. Hey, Uber, I know you're watching. So you see that right there.
Is this real?
Look at both these. 2 trips completed, 7 trips offered. But here's the icing on the cake. 18 trips completed and 526 offers sent to that driver. So
oh my
what's
God.
their acceptance rates? What's their acceptance rates? Pretty shitty,
That's,
huh? Pretty shitty.
That's what is that? That's 1% would be 5, so that's 3%. Yeah, exactly. 3.5%.
Horrible. But hold on.
Yeah.
We haven't played this in a little while.
I'm hoping and I'm hoping that we can
hear this?
remove some of the, for example, being attached of you get to see destination, assuming that you accept a certain percentage of your trip. If we're doing a really good job pricing, and essentially like we price the trip right, your acceptance rates will naturally be at a high rate. And by the way, if it's not, we're getting pricing wrong. That's our fault. It's not your fault. So I'm hoping that the new construct allows us to take some of those kind of conditions off. That's the ultimate. So again,
attached in play. Why are they in?
conditions off. That's the ultimate. So again, the information balance is there.
Yeah.
And we're making decisions based on the attractiveness of that percentage of your trips. If we're doing a really good job pricing, and essentially like we price the trip right, your acceptance rates will naturally be at a high rate. And by the way, if it's not, we're getting pricing wrong. That's our fault. It's not yours.
Wait, what was that?
He said our fault? Is that what he said?
Wait, it's Uber's fault. So why on God's green flat earth would you have 7 trips offered and only 2 completed, and then 526 trips offered and only 18 completed? Guess what?
I have an expensive mic. I would drop the mic, but I can't because I don't want to break it. That was mic drop moment right there. So, okay. I'm sure. Okay. So, I honestly, I don't even know what to say to this. To the one on the right, okay. So Uber, take your Slack screenshot here so you can check into it. I don't, bro. I go out in 10 hours. What 526? I don't even get 50 offers. What 526? That's unbelievable.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Since he said that and it's on record, can I hold that to him as a contract?
Yeah, well,
my acceptance rate is not higher.
My acceptance rate is horrible because you're pricing trips incorrectly. There you go.
Yeah. So can we hold him accountable for that because he actually said it?
Well, I guess you can do anything you want, but I thought your timing was impeccable on this one. I did not know that was coming, so I was like, "Wow, shit. We're really going up there now." Huh?
I had to play it because we haven't played it in so long, and because Upfront Fares is rolling out to most of the nation.
Everywhere. So get the certification going, baby.
For states, it's not. Let's be real. For states, it's not. But yeah. So
yeah. Well, look. That interview was a couple of years ago, people. That wasn't that long ago, actually. And as you guys can see,
first,
that was Harry's soul leaving his body when Dara was lying about that, because he was like, "What the fuck is this guy saying?" But yeah. So Uber, it's not on us. I mean, like the other time when I drove, you sent me the same trip for $3 8 times in a row. I ain't gonna take it. So just like this driver here, 18 out of 500, and bro, even if it was 18 out of 126, it'd still be like 10% acceptance rate. That means 8 out of 9 out of 10 declines. We're not gonna do it. If you want to fix your acceptance rate problem, Uber, you need to do better in pricing. The pricing algo needs a little work. So maybe maybe the pricing algo guy was working from home. Okay. And now he's going to go back to work and maybe they can straighten it out.
You know what? All I know is right now, somewhere in
I got news.
Somewhere in San Francisco, Uber Dara just spit out his coffee saying, "What? I thought I buried that clip."
Well, no, it's on the interweb. You know, whatever is on the net stays on the net. So you know, see, this is the thing. When now we know why he won't come on. But you know, I have new contacts at Uber, you know, and you know, we'll give it another shot. We would love to have Dara Khosrowshahi on. We would love to have all the CEOs on. We would love to talk to you guys, man to man, human to human, driver to boss. Well, you're not my boss. You driver to algo. You know, we would love to talk to you guys about these things. And did you see what I sent you yesterday from LinkedIn?
Yes.
We're going to talk about that next week.
We'll talk about a different time. Yeah.
We'll talk about that next week. That was hilarious. You know, that was funny. But so Matt says she's an Uber Eats driver.
Mm-hmm.
And she said a lot of them were repeats. It's a Phoenix market. Matt, 526 Uber Eats. I don't think I get 526 Uber Eats orders a month, and I'm out there, man. What are you talking about? In 10 hours? Yeah. You know, yeah, they talk to the algorithm. It's like that movie with Robert De Niro. Talk to the manager. Dara, you said it. It's there. We got you. Don't worry. There you go.
All right. Well, either way, yes, there's session summary now. So apparently it gives you a little quick snapshot of your session. Look, I don't really care, to be
What does that
honest.
do,
Like,
by the way? What's the purpose of it?
I don't know. The thing that was going, the conversation on X was, what are they gearing up for when it comes to something like that?
Something is coming, right? Yeah.
I think they might be doing something because of the acceptance. So you see the trips offered and the accepted are completed.
So you feel bad. You feel bad that you declined all those trips.
I think they're gonna try and finagle something in that, because that's the only thing. Like, I mean, I go offline, I can see how much I made. I know how much I made. I don't really care. I know what time I started, and I know what time I ended. And I'm multi-app. So
well, I'm gonna have a lot of sessions, because when I drive, bro, I go no new requests, and then I do one trip, get offline, and then I'm gonna have a lot of sessions. Looks like. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Cool.
One trip, 18 completed or 18 offered. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
so they're breaking down your
there's new badges for map issues.
Okay, I got you. Okay, I have no idea what good is it for. I'll ask Uber, what is it for? I don't have it in LA, so I don't know, but obviously you're doing something. They test on humans what they're doing, and then they just release the evil algos out there. But I have no idea what this could be for, though. But I'll think about it.
I don't know, but like I said, that's my assumption, is that they're gonna probably try to use it for something.
There you
what
go.
that might be, I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. We'll let you guys know next week, because I'm sure I'll ask.
It's probably some sort of behavior modification.
You think so?
Wait, I had 412 offers come to me. Yeah, well, 412 offers sucked, so I didn't accept it. So Dara, you lied to me. You said that you would price things right so my acceptance rate would be automatically higher. I told you what my acceptance rate would be. If we were getting Washington rates across the country, I'm sure that everyone's acceptance rate would be at least 90% or higher.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we have a new driver in Washington State, and
we do.
Yeah, we
do. And he went from driving delivery and finally decided to start doing rideshare, which I told him, I don't know how many times I've told him, for how long. So it's finally nice to see that he is. And here's just a couple of his rides. You like that segue that I had right there, right? It was it was seamless.
I like it quite a bit. Yeah. I'm going to actually interview him on Behind the Wheel, because there's not that many people transition. Drivers are very funny. They either do only rideshare, they wouldn't touch food, or they only do delivery. They wouldn't touch rideshare. You know what I mean? I don't know why.
I'm in that camp. I only do rideshare. I don't touch delivery. The only time I did delivery was when Uber Eats first came here, and they were offering like $3-4 per delivery on top of every order. So it was like, okay, it's not that bad. But when it was like just basic, oh my God, hell no.
Okay, so one of our ex contributors, which are still friends, great. He has his own channel. Zach Drives Fast. Zach called me the other day, and he goes, "Serge, I'm going to do a rideshare." I'm like, "Bro, your car is like 1965. You can't." "No, I bought a Tesla." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "I bought a Tesla. I want you to tell me what to do." I'm like, "Bro, in your state," he's in Bellingham, Washington, by the way, Washington State. He's not even in Seattle. I go, "Oh, in your state," I go, "you accept everything." And he goes, "Really?" I'm like, no, we don't accept everything, but he goes, "I don't see where I'm going." I'm like, "No problem. Lyft shows me where I'm going." So I said, "Okay, that's why I go, you get on Lyft as well." So he got on both. And he, about a day and a half later, he sends me, he goes, "I made $350 today." I was like, "Yeah, with your rates, you probably should have done better." So breaking news, people, look at these chips. Chris, would you like any of these chips? And Uber says, "Oh, the demand is down." Not only the riders are paying through the nose for these trips, they're also tipping. Look at this beauty. 3.3 miles, 11 minutes, $14. So extrapolate that, Uber, to active hours. That's 6 times 14.
Well,
let's
hold
take
on,
the
hold
tip
on,
out.
hold on, hold on.
Take the
There was
tip out.
don't forget there was a $5 tip that was included. So
Take
the
the tip
actual
out.
the
Take
actual
the tip
fare
out.
was $9.49.
Okay, $9.49 times 6. That's 6, 10. Okay, 5.5. 5. Fuck it, 5. 5 times 9.45 is
$50. It's still over $50 an
$47
hour.
an hour. So there you go. And the last one, what is it? $5 tip. Look at that. There, he's getting tip too, right and left.
Yeah, look at that right there. $13 in tips on 3 trips.
Yeah. He goes, 50% of the people are tipping me. I go, well, it must be your good looks. So he's loving rideshare. See? Don't be close-minded, people. If you're doing rideshare, do Uber Eats. Turn the app on. You will get, once in a while, you'll get a good ping and you go do Uber Eats. If you're doing just food, he went and bought himself a used Tesla. He got a good deal on it. He goes, all I want to do is do rideshare to pay the card note. In like 2 days, he paid the card note already. He goes, I love rideshare. I'm addicted. I'm like, yeah, there's an addictive quality when you're getting paid $1.35 a mile and 35 cents a minute, or when you go into Seattle, you get $1.65 a mile and 65 cents a minute. Of course, you will be addicted to it. Of course, your acceptance rate will be like 7%. We wish all of you were like that, but it's not. So yeah, he loves it.
Mhm.
He's just killing it, and I'm going like, good for you, bro. Good for you. So that's it.
Nice. Enjoy it. And you know what? I bet I told him probably a year and a half ago at this point,
Yeah.
do rideshare. He's
Yeah.
probably kicking himself in the ass right now because
Yeah, he's like,
he didn't
I could have
wait so long.
I paid the Tesla off probably in 1 year. I was like, and I told him to do that. You know, we used to have a friend, we Zoom, right? You know, he bought a Tesla literally in 1 year. He paid the whole car off because he was working his ass off. But those are the good days, the pandemic days. He literally paid the car off in a year, making double, triple payments. And I told him to do the same thing. I go, just, you know, make the money, put it away, and, you know, pay your car off. So, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about something else that Dara had to say. I mean, he said a couple of things today. He already said that get back to the office. He said that if your acceptance rate is not high, it's because they're pricing it wrong.
Yeah.
Even though that was 2 years ago, it's still very relevant today.
Yeah.
And now he's saying that Waymos in Austin are busier than 99% of human drivers. And you want to know why? Because they just take any ride that comes their way.
This is a
Drivers,
horrible
on the other hand,
comment, actually. And what this means nothing to me. Nothing.
What?
This right here, comment means nothing to me. First of all, they don't have a 12-hour clock, Dara. How about that? They just take themselves back, get charged, get back out again. They're probably driving 22 hours. Of course, they're going to be busier than 99% of human drivers. Number one. Number two, it's a new thing in Austin. Only 100 cars. Great. Yoop-de-doo. You know what I mean? Anyway, so Uber CEO says Waymo robotaxis on its app in Austin are busier than 99% of human drivers. Yeah, because human drivers are not stupid to pick $3 trips. They decline and recline. That's why your acceptance rate is in the shithole. That's why. That's that. So, this and you know, there's a new guy at BI. I don't know this guy, this cat, Tom Carter. I know, you know, Noah, and I know Alex, and I know Jacob. This dude is writing these weird articles now. I need to know who this guy is, so I'll get a hold of him. Put some sense into this guy. Uber CEO said Waymo robotaxis on its app in Austin. By the way, did you know that if there is Waymos in that city and a rider orders it, you may get it without you requesting a Waymo, by the way? Did you know that? So Uber may be picking the juiciest trips in Austin and feeding it to Waymos. You know, you don't have to specifically request through the Uber app and Waymo. Uber app decides, Uber matching algorithm decides what's the best car for you as a rider and sends it to you. So you maybe get a Waymo without asking for a Waymo.
So if you don't want to, but here's the thing: if you don't want a Waymo,
then tough shit.
You cancel it, you get charged because you didn't want the Waymo to begin with.
I doubt that. So they have a sweetheart deal. Okay, first of all, in Austin, it's an exclusive deal, like they're going to have one in Atlanta. They have a sweetheart deal. Waymo's paying Uber probably half the fare. They go like, okay, it's okay. We'll just sucking out all your riders, and pretty soon, in a couple of years, our network, not our own network, is not going to need Uber. But we'll see. They definitely must have a sweetheart deal, and Uber app is probably picking the juiciest trips, sending it to the Waymo drivers. What drivers? There's no driver. Waymo cars. DK said Uber will grow its self-driving fleet after the deal with Waymo exceeded expectations. Wonderful. The ride-hailing giant has struck deals with over a dozen. Uber passengers in Austin seemingly can't get enough of Waymo's robo-taxis. With 100 or so Waymo vehicles operating on the Uber app, already busier than the human drivers they share the road with. The reason for that is, I don't want to get into it. Derek Oshishai said Austin, 100 Waymo vehicles. He also shared that the two companies plan to scale autonomous fleets in Austin to hundreds of Waymos. See how fast Dara will want to get rid of you all here? And just like he's getting rid of Uber employees, he goes, it is what it is, like it or not, take a hike, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I actually wrote something to Lyft about it, and I do like, how Harry did the interview with Jeremy about autonomous vehicles. At least Lyft is acknowledging that there's going to be a problem for human drivers going forward with AVs. These a-holes don't even say anything. Like, oh, we're just going to double, quadruple. Screw the humans. We just need AVs. On the surface, busier than 99% of human drivers is an impressive stat. But it makes sense since Waymos can theoretically work 24/7. Not 24/7. Minus a couple hours a day for charging, cleaning. While human Uber drivers are required to take a 6-hour break after 12 hours. I know a lot of drivers in Austin. I asked them. They said, not really. We're not seeing that much of a fall off in demand for them as opposed to the Waymos. Okay. So if each Waymo vehicle works 22 hours a day and does just one trip per hour, that is 154 trips a week. That's about 50 shy of probably a human driver or for a full-time driver. So already close to the top Uber driver at a reasonable utilization. At 2 trips per hour Waymo, that's equal to 308 trips a week. Look, man, Uber does 1.4 million trips now an hour. What about, this thing is like whatever. I talked to Kian at Curbivore. He asked me the same question. I'm not worried now. Probably got 5 to 8 years to go, but it's definitely time to figure you guys shit out because this thing is going away. Slowly but surely, it's going to go away, and there's going to be nothing but these Waymos and other ones doing rideshare. So, yeah.
Yep. Well, either way, yeah. We talked about that after Curbivores is to start pivoting and to start looking like for other things. Keep your ears peeled and your eyes open for different opportunities and things as well, because who knows how long it's really going to last. But probably, yeah. I'm going to go on the later end, probably like 8 or more years. Probably close to a decade when it comes to a real substantial. But the biggest thing is, again, drivers are not going to take the shitty rides. Why do you think there's an acceptance rate problem?
Yeah.
Because drivers are not going to take it. So saying something like that is pointless. It really is.
It's insulting, actually. They go like, oh, they're busier than 99. Yeah, because they take every fucking trip.
Yeah.
Their utilization is, I don't know, not 100%. Well, they're probably, no, probably not 100%. Look, 100 cars, 3 million population. Of course, they're going to be busy 99% of the time. What does
especially
that mean?
Especially if somebody is ordering an Uber, wants a car, and then all of a sudden a Waymo shows up. So now they're hyperinflating things too.
Yeah, they're pushing the Waymos on these people. Probably the app is probably goes, yeah. We're gonna
if honestly, if a Waymo came up, I would cancel the ride and then I would bitch Uber out.
What about this? They're not cone allergic anymore. Did you see that one I sent you?
Well, that was a little cone. It was just a little baby.
No, well, cone. No.
You gotta get the big cone. The big cone.
I don't think it's gonna make a difference. I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
I think it would.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah.
That they may have wrote that in the code.
In the street.
They may have.
You gotta put the cones in the street in front of it.
Oh, or you know what? That. But all the other ones were the unicorns when you put the cone on the hood and then it wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, but if you looked at the cone, it was just a little cone. It wasn't. It was like one of those that you could buy on Amazon.
Well, it's
you want to get like you want to get the real cones, like the 3-footers. You want something that's got some girth to it.
It surprised me that they took off with the cone on the hood.
So. I know. It stole your shit, man.
Yeah.
It stole your cone, bro.
Yes. Yeah. All right.
It's a video. Actually, I think I shared. I believe I shared it on X.
Yeah, I sent it to you. I was like, "What the hell?"
Let me double check.
No.
I think I did. I'm almost positive that I put it on X.
Yeah, we are reading the chat, but if you're going to spam it, we're not going to read it.
It's just a little cone. It's just a little cone.
Baby
you gotta
cone?
get something that's a little bit bigger that's going to actually read this. Like that probably didn't even like touch the sensor. So you got to get something like that's a nice big cone. You get something like that, or you know what? You could get like a little baby doll, like from Walmart or something, like the little plastic ones, and put it like in front. So it'll be like, I don't know what to do. There's a baby in the road.
Throw it under the thing, under the wheels. Like, and then take a picture. It's like put it on X. Actually, there was something funny today that I was watching I saw on X. You know, when there's a power outage and traffic lights go out, you know, Waymos can't deal with that. You know that, right? Because I saw what happened. You know, okay, when traffic lights go out, what do humans do? They treat it as a stop sign, right?
Stop. Well, you're supposed to treat it as a four-way stop, but all the dickholes out there have no idea what they're doing, so they're just driving like fucking morons and getting people into an accident.
Well, what Waymos do, they put the flashers on the stop. They just don't move. That's what they do. So they're not used to that shit. Yeah. But anyway, man.
And then the doors are locked. You can't get out. You're like, when you're inside one. And then everybody behind is like, get the fuck out of my way.
I don't know. Well,
maybe you know what? Maybe that's all I got to do. Maybe I just got to hack into the power grid and just shut down the entire power grid. Everybody, all the human drivers know what to do, and you know the Waymos will just sit there with their thumbs up their asses. So it's okay.
Just for Waymo, I don't think it's worth torturing humans for that. I don't think it's worth it. Anyway, so are we done?
No, we've got to talk about some commercial insurance.
Oh, this last one, yeah. This is the highest I've seen in LA so far. This was recent, May 7th, right here. It's on the screenshot on the left. May 7th, 2025, 5:45 p.m. This trip was going from Montebello, which is kind of east of downtown LA, to SoFi Center, which is a stadium. So it says, the good news is you received a wait time fee, but you earn less than the upfront fare this time because your trip was shorter. I'm like, actually Chuck, one of our friends who, he had a good video out that I tweeted out that he got shafted by the Uber algo. But you guys should go watch that. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. But long story short, here I want you to guys focus on the trip. 18.98 miles, 46 minutes, right at the Prop 22 numbers, Chris, right at it. 47 minutes, $19. Take out the expenses of $6, that's $11. I'm like, why are you doing this trip anyway? But it's okay. Maybe, I think it was going to LAX or something afterwards. But look at the fare, $18.90, $18.42, plus there is wait time at pickup. Okay. 1.93 minutes at 25 cents a minute. This is Uber X, people. What did the rider pay, Chris?
$71.97.
Okay, so divide that by 17, which is the mileage. What is that? Is that almost like $4 a mile? Yeah, exactly, actually. Oh, yeah, exactly, $4 a mile. So cabs in LA cost $2.75 a mile. So we have come full circle. When Uber first showed up, they priced every trip half the cab prices. Now they're 30 to 40% more than cabs, but that's not the point. The point is, rider paid $72 for a 46-minute trip. This is going to be very relevant, by the way, to when we do driver's corner in a minute. I want you to guys keep this in mind, this trip right here. Okay, so 72. Next screenshot. California driver benefits is Prop 22, region city fee 19 cents. All right. 18 miles, $41.22 for commercial insurance.
$50 one.
Huh?
I thought we saw a $50 one.
Yeah, but that was 40 miles. That was going from Hollywood to Disneyland. Bro, this is 18 miles. Okay.
What, $3 a mile?
$41.22. And finally, that's why Uber says, see, if you ask Uber, okay, what did the rider pay? 72. The driver got 20, let's say. Uber is going to say, no, we didn't take 80%, 75%. We only took $10. That's what Uber says right here, $10.87. So Uber is going to say, out of 71, we just made 15%. We didn't take 80%.
They're never going to, the thing though that they don't realize is they will never win that argument, because a driver looks at three figures and three figures alone. That is what the rider paid, what the driver made, and what's left over. That's all they look at. They don't give a shit about all these things that break down.
This is $72.
That's
and
insane.
$41 goes to commercial insurance on an 18-mile trip? No.
That's insane.
So that's where we are with the according to Uber.
So here's the thing. If this driver had commercial insurance through their own pocket, listen to this.
Yeah. He would have made $36
a mile. They're paying $1 a mile. So that 18.9 mile ride would then be $18.90 that they would pay to the driver. Yeah. And the commercial insurance expense would be $18.90 versus $41.22.
Think about that.
Please tell me how that works.
I want to know myself. I
Make
really
it make sense.
Because that's as high as I've seen it. Almost $2.50 a mile for commercial insurance. That's outrageous. Okay,
that's insane.
But it is what it is. And so Uber only made 15% on this trip. So you guys know. I don't really piss people off. Just gotta say, Uber didn't make any money on this trip.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So send me a few of these if you guys see like some ridiculous, egregious numbers like this, because it's becoming like a little bit of a not joke, but it's been a joke, but it's getting worse and worse. So I am very curious about how a new outfit can come and do this better without recreating the wheel. How could it be a great value proposition for the rider and a great value proposition for the driver? So for that, if you guys want to come on, grab the link and come on. We're going to talk about that now.
Yep. So that's the link right there, sent out for you. So let's get a couple of drivers to come on and talk about that. Again, talking about what you think the ultimate rideshare app would be. Very similar to something like Joe's video. You can talk about it from the driver perspective, what would help with the passenger experience as well, and how it all could be profitable if you want to go that far.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go over a couple of comments here. So driving for Uber gives me PTSD.
All right, there you go. Sign up. Go to Uber.
There you go. Sign up
from all your $3 offers.
Mike Smith says this is a messed up story. Uber is just concerned over a potential ADA lawsuit, but think it through. All this accomplishes taking those better offers away from other drivers. Oh, hey.
Not really.
Sometimes you got to put it in your favor, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, here's the thing: you get a few thousand people watching the show, and they said, "Hey, we're going to do that." Well, there's a few million drivers out there, so hey, is the juice worth the squeeze? Yes, he says non-related, but last night I ordered pizza from our favorite place. They had an AI take the order over the phone. They said they are testing AI, using AI for phone orders. Oh, I would hang up immediately.
How would you even know it's AI?
You could tell.
Oh.
I mean, it's getting better. It's definitely getting a lot better, but you can still
tell.
Bro,
it's copying my name, my voice, and making me talk Spanish. How are you going to know? You don't know. Come on.
Yeah, but that's different. That's it's got to take the inflection from text to, an actual voice is much different. So that's where it is. The emotion, the up, the down, the volume, the increases and decreases within speaking. There's a lot of nuance when it comes down to it.
It's gonna
Sniper says, this
definitely
is so revealing.
get word.
Talking about the ADA.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mike Smith again says, whatever gain in earnings this driver experiences an equal decrease in earnings. Are you complaining? Why? Is it somebody taking off food off your plate? Or is it just Uber taking food off your plate? Be pissed off at Uber.
Yeah, I know.
It says DK's request is no different than the rest of corporate America. They had all done the same thing: 3 days at work, 2 days at home. Major companies in the Northeast have already done this. Yeah.
Okay.
That's talking about return to work.
Oh, okay.
Get your asses back to work.
That's right.
Don says Uber CEO DK is following Trump around in Saudi Arabia.
No, he's
probably
not.
trying to sniff at his hindquarters and say, oh, please give us something. Please don't let the FTC come after us. Please.
Well, yeah.
Brandon says to mention the person actually at the office is going to be doing far more work than the person at home simply because they are in person will be asked to do more things. Yeah, but that same person can also ask for more money. So I mean, if you don't invest in yourself, and then you're going to be stuck in the same exact spot. So
yeah. Well, I think they're well paid. I think they should all go back to work 5 days a day, 5 days a week.
Sally says we definitely get throttled. I'm so done with it. They could keep me busy. 5.0 rating for 3+ years. Really nice car, but they choose not to pay me correctly. They can't even turn me into an ant.
Well, there's a choice.
I mean, they honestly, they could turn everybody into an ant. Everybody could be an ant, including Sergio. He could relinquish CPCU or whatever you call it, CPU, quickly by paying properly.
CPU, become AFU. Quit CPU, become AFU. There you go. No, I mean, look, it is at the point that it's really undesirable, to be honest with you. If you're driving for $1 a mile or less, you are losing money. 70, what is it this year? 74 cents a mile. IRS
70 cents for IRS.
70? Okay, so 30 cents a mile net. I don't know. $1 a mile, I don't think it's going to cut it.
$1 a mile is not. No.
Okay. Yeah.
You got to be driving for more than that.
Yeah.
We don't have shared rides in my town. Thank God. I don't either.
We do. Well, we have it on Uber. We have it on Uber. I don't take share rides. I don't want to take share rides.
Yeah. No, thanks.
Yeah.
Brandon says just double the IRS's mileage deductible. I think it's currently, it's at 70 cents. So paid driver no less than $1.40. I'll change that just because it's 70 cents. And total mileage is
that's exactly where Zach is driving. $1.35 a mile in Bellingham, Washington, and 35 cents a minute.
Exactly. I was just going to say there's time involved, so don't forget about that.
Oh no, yeah, definitely.
Honestly, I think if you were paid $1.25, like this is the minimum rate anywhere in the country should be.
Okay, $1.25,
$1.25 mile and 25 cents a minute. I think is the minimum that should be.
I think everybody would shut up and drive for those fares.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're in a bigger city or something, it should be according based on standard of living and things like that, and cost of living. But the problem is, I think the minimum, like bare minimum, should be $1.25 a mile and 25 cents a minute. Bare minimum.
This guy keeps bombarding us. Okay. Hi, Sergio. I'm currently suing Uber being deactivated, and the hearing is June 3rd. I hope they reach out to negotiate. They're not going to reach out to anything. If you're taking them to small claims court, they're not even going to show up. You're going to get a judgment and good luck collecting it. Otherwise, if it's something else, you can email me and then maybe we'll put you on behind the wheel. But I don't know what kind of lawsuit you're in.
Is it a good idea to buy a used 22 Model Y to do Uber and Lyft?
Yeah.
If it makes sense to you.
He's in LA. Definitely.
If the price is right for the Model Y that you're getting it at, you're depending on, there's a lot of factors. But honestly, it comes down to the price of the car. If the price of the car is good, and you're getting a great deal for it, then, go for it.
Zach got a good deal on a Model 3 up in Washington. They have good deals on used Model Ys now.
What Dara said is a big lie. Yeah, 100%.
Sure.
Because that's why more and more drivers' acceptance rates are just dwindling to nothing.
The shithole.
So,
But but I'm hearing that advantage versus standard is a little helping out a little bit. A little
okay,
bit.
so a driver is going from 18% to 25%.
Yeah, something like that.
I mean, big deal.
But no, I mean, there is one thing with that advantage versus standard is that there was, like we talked about it last week, and I want to reiterate, Uber, if you accept a trip on Trip Radar, that should count towards your acceptance rate. I think that's just no-brainer. I really do think that's bullshit. That you accept it, you go whack-a-mole and you accept it, and they match you with it, God forbid, luckily, that should count towards your acceptance rate. I mean, I'm not sure why it doesn't count towards your acceptance rate. Otherwise, how are you going to move up? I have to. You're forcing me to accept garbage exclusives for me to move up my AR. You know, you'll have more people in an advantage mode. You know, which is meaningless.
Or $25.
Yeah,
Plain
exactly. $25 would be nice.
Probably close to
maybe the new rideshare company would do that. $25.
I don't know. All right. Well, let's see. Robert, how you doing?
Oh,
there?
that's the ADA dude right there.
Hello,
Robert.
Hey, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Yes. What's going on?
Okay, gotcha. Hey, so yeah, my name is Robert. I submitted the ADA request to Uber. I'm glad that I got in touch with you guys because I can set the record straight. Any information that you're getting from ChatGPT is potentially just like a basic version of ChatGPT. I have done in-depth research regarding ADA law. Now, Uber is a public-facing business. Now, as a public-facing business, they do not need a physical location. This has been tried over and over again. You can look up, I believe it's Robles versus Domino's. You can also look up, there are, I think, 4 other ADA cases involving Title III, in which Uber has, it was ruled that they are subject to Title III. So the only thing that hasn't been tested is whether or not drivers are entitled to Title III. But according to Department of Justice guidelines, according to the letter of the law, private contractors are not employees, so they would not be included in Title I of the ADA. However, if you look at the actual text of Title III, it states that everyone, it doesn't make any exclusions, it says everyone is entitled to Title III if you have a disability. Now, if you guys have any questions, I'm open to that, but really research, because ChatGPT, especially those older versions or non-paid versions, will give you information that's just not true.
No, we got that.
First,
now, if you take the information that
it was ChatGPT, and I would have to copy the information in there to actually. Okay. That was just putting in TLDR. So, you know, we're not here to argue semantics on that.
Yeah. Now, I sent you guys text messages. I sent you guys an email, which pretty much lays out my position. And you know, I've been in this industry for around 17 years, right? So I know what laws delivery companies and rideshare companies that they have to abide by. They're not excluded from Title III, and that's been proven plenty of times.
Okay, so
I sent you guys some information.
Robert,
yes.
what are you doing now? Because we talked about it. You said, you know, your earnings went up for a little bit, and then you got that email from Uber support saying pounds, and there's nothing like that. So what are you doing now?
Sure. My next plan is to file a lawsuit for Title III violations. I would like to file an injunction. That way they're all neurodivergents, not only me, are allowed equal and fair access to the platform. Because it's not logic-based, it's not consistent, and it's not fair. Those are my 3 main concerns. And those things give me executive dysfunction and a lot of anxiety, the way that Uber's algorithm is set up. So that's my position. That's what I'd like to, that's what I'm going to do. Those are my next, that's my next plan, I guess, in this movement. Hopefully we can get some things accomplished.
Okay, sounds good. And I said it, I don't think you may, I don't know if you were watching or not, but I'll be in touch with you, obviously, to keep abreast of what's going on, what you're doing. But so just to verify our conversation that we had a few days ago. So after you did this, you did see a dramatic increase in your order flow and quality of orders, correct?
Correct. 1 week. Now, the prior 2 weeks, before I submitted the ADA accommodation, I was getting around $10 an hour.
Okay.
Now, that was just too much anxiety, too much. I mean, I would just go home,
Okay.
and what could I do? I'm used to working 10 hours, 12-hour days. I submitted the ADA accommodation. You have the messages that Uber sent back to me for
Right.
3 days. It was like driving back in the day. It was fair. I wasn't making $50 an hour. I was making somewhere close to around 25 to 30, depending on the day. And that's online time. That's not active time. So
Okay.
Uber can do this. It's proven that they can do this. They just choose not to do so.
Okay, so are they back to are you back to your normal, I'm not saying normal, but are you back to your $10 an hour again?
Correct.
And that
Yeah,
happened to
correct. And
coincide with
that's what
that
I'm going
last
to
email,
fight.
that happened to coincide with the last email supervisor telling you there is no such thing here after what they said they did, right?
Correct. What?
Okay.
Now, the day, it was Thursday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and you can
Okay.
tell by the days, anywhere from 25 to 30, like I previously said. Now, Thursday, I called Uber support, messaged Uber support so I could have a written record, asked them what was going on. You have those screenshots, you've already displayed them. Basically, they told me to, lack of a better word, they told me to F off.
Okay.
They told me that there is no ADA department, but there is
So,
an ADA department. Their thinking is that it doesn't include drivers. That's
gotcha.
what I want to challenge, because there's
Well,
nothing on the law, and the letter of the law states that drivers are covered.
Okay, so I think what happened is that the initial responses you got from Uber support, it doesn't look like a bot. It looks like a human, actually, because there were some typos in there. But it looks like they came back to you with something, and then a couple other people came back to you saying, "Yeah, we're looking into it. We're told our engineers to fix it and whatever." And then at Uber,
Correct.
they probably ran it through legal, and the legals probably said, "Don't mess with this. Tell this guy to take a hike." And that's where you
Here's
are.
what I think happened.
Okay.
Here's what I think happened. They're using any type of legal justification to not give me this accommodation.
Okay.
And of course, the reason is obvious. If they did this, now there is such thing, you can look up the law for this. I don't know it exactly, but there can't be two versions of a system. That's
Okay.
called segregation. So in order for me to get my ADA accommodation applied, and they told me they were sending it to engineering. This was the same day I noticed the difference in pay. They said they were, and I can send you over these screenshots. They said that they
I
were
got it.
going
I
to
mean, I
contact
got it. So
engineering.
I am interested in the story, following up on the story, and specifically what you're doing with it, where you're going with it. I'm not saying you're hallucinating, that one day you're, grossing $10 online hours, and then the next day it gets up to 25, 30, and then it gets back to 10. So something is being turned on and off, or the juice is being turned on and off, for lack of a better word, right? Somewhere. And
Absolutely.
it could be done. So,
Something's
okay.
going on.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, because we got a couple other people
Absolutely.
coming on now. But I'm happy
Awesome.
to continue the story with you, and keep me posted with it.
Absolutely, will do. Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, take care.
All right, thanks, you too. All right, let's bring Walter on. Walter, how you doing?
Walter,
hey guys,
Walter, what's up?
Hey, I got
How's it
some
going?
ice in my mouth. Hold on. Man, I
We
just
catch you
found this show the other day, man, and you guys are really, really good, man. You're very informative, and you bring a lot of good energy and just good information to the community. And I'm not even
thank
a
you.
driver, but I just really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Oh,
man.
thank you, thank you. Well, what
Thanks.
we say is we're here to inform, educate, and sometimes entertain. Some shows are more entertaining than the others. Some are more serious than the others. But you don't drive, do you?
Definitely.
Are you a
I've been
consumer?
binge watching you guys, and I've found both of those statements to be true. So,
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you, man. Much appreciated.
yeah. I'm here today because I have found a particular pain point as a rider, right, in the rideshare community where, sometimes it's priced a little too high. I want to move these kind of middlemen out of the way. I don't feel like they deserve the money. Some of these executives or whatever, right? They're kind of putting their surcharge on top of the product. And then, just like sometimes I see a driver and I want to have a repeat experience with that driver. We had a good trip. And so those are two kind of things that I saw from the rider side. And it kind of inspired me to dream up, kind of the rideshare network from the rider side, where you have an app and you can build your own personal driver network. And then when you need a trip, that would go out to your personal driver network and sort it out. And kind of that's the short
Well,
story.
if I may interrupt you, there is an app like that you can, as a rider, you can choose your preferred driver list, and you can keep ordering the same person. And I am involved with that app, but we'll talk about that probably
And
next few weeks.
do you think that it will pick up traction, like it can
Depends.
close the gap on the big boys?
It's very difficult to compete with these two. One is $180 billion company, and the other one is a $5-6 billion company. So we're dealing with a lot of powerful people, egos and money and lobbying and all that shit, right? So to us, there has been a lot of newcomers. They try and then they disappear because they don't have the pockets to withstand the games that these companies play with whenever a threat shows up on the horizon, and they mess around with the trips they offer riders, whatever city that they go in, and they kill these companies. They don't want any competition. But I believe, personally speaking, I believe that if you can offer value to a rider and a driver on the same platform, I think it will have a chance. But it has to be coming from the rider side more than the driver side, because the drivers are dissatisfied as they are. But I think now the riders are as dissatisfied as the drivers are, because service quality has gone down, car quality has gone down, and you're paying 50% more than 3-4 years ago for the exact same trip you were paying, right? So this is it. This is not the time. Then it will never happen. Those two. There's a duopoly. It's going to continue the way it is.
And who do you think should be like more in control of the pricing mechanism? In
I
my
don't think
mind,
anybody should be in control. I think there should be a rate card like we used to have. The driver knows what he's going to get paid or she's going to get paid, and the rider knows what they're going to get paid. Just like a cab company, man. There's a meter, right?
yeah.
I call these companies cab companies with an app anyway. And to me, it's like,
They
look,
are.
behave. Don't call yourself a technology company. But they do, because they have to do it for other legal purposes. But I think if there was if a company out there that completely transparently says, well, I'm going to pay you this and I'm going to charge you this. I'm not going to get in the middle. I'm not going to broker the deal. I'm not going to take 50%, 60% of what you paid as Walter and put it in my pocket, and whatever's left over, I'm going to give it to the driver. None of these shenanigans. I think that company will have some success as long as they have the right tools to compete with these people. So, but we'll see.
Maybe
a
monthly subscription to the driver and a free service to the user.
Something like that. Yeah.
And just create the marketplace. So then what do you think, what is that worth for a driver? Would a driver pay $1 a day to, operate in that marketplace maybe?
Possibly, potentially, or, look, when Uber first started, nobody was complaining about Uber. Everybody was making good money. There was an 80-20 cut, right? 80% of what the rider
That's
paid
what it was,
went to
80-20.
them, and 20% went to Uber. But then that has completely flipped now. It's almost 60-40 for Uber, right? So I think
And what do you
know,
think the ideal, share is? Like, you think 80-20 was a
80-20,
sweet
I think is
spot?
fair. I think 80-20 with a decent rate card, I think is fair, and I think drivers would definitely drive for that, right? They just want to make
Okay.
an honest living. They don't, we're not here to become millionaires. We just want to make an honest living, put food on the table. But when you offer me $3 trips in 2025, and I can even buy a pack of gum
That
in
doesn't
LA
make
for
sense.
$3, I can't put a human in my car for $3. I just can't. So that's where we are, man. But thank you for showing up. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir, man. I appreciate it. I'll be back, because this is something that's on my mind, and I hear you guys talking, and I heard a few pain points today that sparked some ideas in my mind, and I'll be back, guys. Thank you for having me,
My
man.
email is sergio@therideshareguy.com. So if you want to get in touch with me, it's the best and fastest way to get in touch with me.
Yes, sir. God bless
All
you
right.
guys.
All right, take care now.
All right. Thank you.
Yep.
All right,
right.
nobody came on. All right, cool. We're done. Oh, nope. Okay. All right, I'm glad Robert did show up and talked about this ADA case and what he's doing with it, so you guys have a better understanding of what's going on.
Yeah.
He seemed
I think something like that though will need a little bit more time that's dedicated towards it versus like a little bit on the show. So yeah, something like behind the wheel, following
All
through
right.
with that would be good.
Can I put this out here because we have 2 minutes? Okay, let's do like a quick survey. We'll put ones and twos. Too many things to say though. You know what? I'll put that on our community tab. I'll put that on the community tab. We'll do a poll. It'll be about, will you drive for 80-20 like the old days? Will you drive for $1.25? Us, we're talking, let's say LA. Will you drive for $1.25 a mile and 25 cents a minute? Will you be okay as a driver to get fingerprinted and drug tested to become a driver? Will you be okay with that? Actually, I will put these polls on the community page. Please go answer it, because I think that will clean up a lot of the safety issues. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know why you would say no to that. But so if you say no to that, that means you either have a drug problem or you have a problem that's from the past. And just like Hop, Skip, and Drive does, just like Everdriven does. Yeah, they do transport teenagers, but you can open that market for yourself too. If I were to start a rideshare company today, I would have a decent rate card for each city. I would have an 80-20 split, and I would want all my drivers to be fingerprinted and drug tested, because then you're offering such a great value proposition for the rider, and you'll price it about 20% less from Uber and Lyft or for the rider, and pay the driver whatever's left over outside that, and the drivers probably will make 25 to 30% more on an identical trip, and I think that will be a successful company. And but just to get the safety out of the way, because shit happens in these cars. Not that if you're drug tested and fingerprint background check, shit cannot go wrong. Shit still will go wrong, but I think it'll be a lot less. And as a company, you'll clear out some liability from driver to rider assaults and things like that. So there is something happening. I will keep you guys posted. Hopefully it'll work out. All I want is drivers that are truly in this to give good service, and they're entrepreneurial. They have a business mind. They can grow their own customer base. You're going to be offered the same commercial insurance as Uber, cheaper deductible too, by the way. And I think it will succeed, because I think both sides of the marketplace had enough with this bullshit that's going on. Okay.
Oh yeah.
But I will keep you guys posted on that. I'll be around, so don't worry about it. Because I'm in talks with to make this happen. Hopefully I can make it happen. And if it does, all of you who said yes, you better sign up. But anyway, yeah. Anyway.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
either way, with that being said, anything beyond that, Serge?
No, man. So get in touch with me for Behind the Wheel if you have a good story.
Band-Aid dash cams in every car. Yeah.
Potentially, that's a possibility. But no, nothing more. We had a good show. We'll be back next week in 2 weeks. 2 weeks, not this week, not next Tuesday, Tuesday after. Corey Doctorow. I think he may have been the most popular guest. And we need to make a song like, and shitification. It's like the
we gotta make it
satisfaction song.
on.
Satisfaction. But anyway, so Corey is going to be on. Corey in 2 weeks. Corey is the shit. Corey is the man. Corey is the he's an amazing writer, speaker, obviously. But he put that word together and it went into the dictionary and it was chosen the word of the year in 2023. And shitification.
I mean, let's look at why everything's in shitified. I mean, literally, I grab a pair of socks, and within a month and a half, there's a hole in them.
Yeah, everything is unshitified.
Everything.
Yeah, no drug test, no fingerprinting. Why is that, Rosita? Why is that? Why don't you want drug test and fingerprinting? Yeah, I think yeah. Oh, I saw
Somebody's
that.
Hiding something.
I don't know. Rosita must have something going on. I have good background, no record, nope, don't care what they think. Your license is good for what? Your driver's license? I don't know. I don't think
driver's license isn't the same as background. So
yeah,
somebody's got a little something.
You know what demographic will that like completely like take over? The female riders, right? So you go out there and say every one of my drivers, by the way, is fingerprinted and background checked and drug tested. You will grab like 80% of the female drivers. They go like, yeah, sure.
Maybe.
Well, I mean, it has to be a good value proposition, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
You get rid of all the illegals.
No comment on my lengthy question. This guy's spamming it. Either he's spamming or trolling it. What is the question, bro?
I don't even know what the question is.
Transparenting 1415. Bring her on BTW. Not really, just my business. No, it's not your business. You're in commercial driving business. Every cabbie is fingerprinted.
Truckers are too.
Yeah. Why not? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anyway, but let's say goodbye. Much love to you all. Please be safe out there. Please have a dash cam. Please stay healthy. Life is too short. Play hard. And that's it.
All right. Well, have a good rest of your week, and we'll see you guys next week. And for your question, whoever, if you're not getting to it, Sergio at therideshareguy.com. Easiest way to get hold.
Yes.